Hey, I'm Brian Van, SportbikeTrackGear.com. Today we're going to break down an all-new laser alignment chain and sprocket tool from our friends at Gearhead Zone. Chain and sprocket alignment, right? The relationship between the rear sprocket and the countershaft sprocket is important for a number of reasons. Reason number one, if they're running out of line, you're going to see premature wear on the sprocket as well as the chain, okay? That's reason one, it needs to be straight. Reason two, to get the bike to track straight when you're riding down the road, right? Everything running in line. The relationship between, this is a straight motorcycle, okay? The relationship between the front wheel and the rear wheel, assuming the frame and the forks and everything are straight, is influenced by rear axle alignment. You have the axle off a little bit, off plane a little bit, the motorcycle is not going to track straight. And then reason three, it's going to be horsepower. When it's tracking off plane with the countershaft sprocket, that's going to generate friction. Friction reduces power, reduction in power is a reduction in overall performance. So those are the reasons why you want to keep it straight. I know what you're thinking right now. You're like, hey man, but there's marks on the swing arm, dude. And I can just use those to line up my chain and make everything straight. Those are a great place to start. But the reality is they are only so accurate. Gearhead Zone has come up with a tool, and I've got a lot of different stuff that I've used for this over the years. I have a full laser chassis alignment system that I've been using on Max's race bikes for the last few seasons now to keep his bike, the rear sprocket and the front sprocket perfectly in line, okay? Works great. The tool that I use is a little more cumbersome. You know, on this bike, we've got some through rods that go through the axle, and it's gonna go through the swing arm pivot back here, and we're lining it up like that. Motion Pro has a nice one. It's a metal rod, right? That's about maybe 6 inches long, and that hangs off in a similar fashion to this off the rear sprocket. It gives you an idea of how straight it is. This one has much more range, okay? When you install this on the rear sprocket, you're able to get alignment in this area and then alignment all the way up by the countershaft sprocket itself. And it very quickly tells you how well aligned your rear axle is. So when you get the tool, and I love this, right? Gearhead Zone sent it with enough batteries to have full replacement. The batteries are installed right here. Comes with a total of 6. You need to install them with the engraving up. This little hole right here, there's a cap you just pull out. It holds the 3 spare batteries, so you're always good to go. Once you've got your batteries installed, go ahead and snug that up. There's an on-off switch. Obviously, you want to make sure you turn it off when you're not using it so you don't just kill the battery. The overall quality of the tool, the machining looks great. These are calibrated for accuracy. It's actually signed off right here on the bottom. It's kind of a nice touch, right? I think the retail for the tool is in the $60 range, which once I got this and I took a look at it, they started off by reaching out to us with an email. We saw another one of their products, their Moto Chainmate, right? Help you clean and maintain your chain. That thing sold great. It's a nice tool. They sent us an email, a bunch of photos of this. Once I saw them, I'm like, send me a sample to do a video on for sure. I knew the quality of the other product was good, and then we ordered 50 right out of the gate because I had a suspicion this thing was going to be great. Our samples showed up in advance of our order. I had a chance to play with this thing already, and I gotta tell you, I'm impressed. So how do you use it? Very simple. This inside surface has to sit flat on the surface of the rear sprocket. From there, just tighten the thumb screw. Until you get it seated, right? And it's gonna kind of still be able to rotate like that. You don't need to crank down on that and go crazy. It just needs to be on flush on the rear sprocket. Also make sure that the surface that this is going to be secured to is clean, both front and back. Once you have this on there, let's start by turning it on, and hopefully Tom can get as much of this as possible on the camera. You see how I just kind of rotated the tool down, and you can see the laser is just catching the inside of the plate. And as I rotate that up, you can see that's really consistent the entire length of the chain. This bike, that is super straight, and that was the result of using the tool that I own, the chassis measuring device. So we started off with a straight bike. What does it look like when it's misaligned? Okay, well, let's go ahead and let's misalign our bike on purpose to give you guys an idea of what that would in fact look like. So we'll just go ahead and I think that would be enough. Anytime I tighten the rear axle, I'm going to put that stubby Phillips screwdriver in between the chain and the sprocket, just put a little bit of pressure on it, and that ensures that the rear axle is sitting against the adjuster blocks. The adjuster screw is nice and firm. We're not going to use a torque wrench here. I do, of course, when I work on the bike, but for the purpose of this video, not necessary. So you can see back here, it's kind of touching the inside plate. As I rotate it and extend its range out, now you can very clearly see that thing is tracking this way. Okay, so the axle is further back on the left side, the clutch side, than it is on the brake side, causing the misalignment. If the left side of the axle is pushed back further, you're going to see the laser light be more on the rollers as you get further down the chain, and it will still start when you're right here. It's going to start right on the inside plate. Rotate it up, and you can see the difference. So now, correction. Now, when you're setting your chain slack, most often you're going to have to make adjustments to both sides of the axle. You're not going to get away with what we're doing here, just one side. We're just trying to give you a visual representation of what aligned and misaligned would look like. Okay, so that's going to give you a rough idea, right, of what we're aiming for. The more perfectly aligned it is, the less wear and tear you're going to have on your components, and the more speed, the more power you're going to have. When you're making your adjustments, like I touched on earlier when I just tried to give you an example of misaligned as compared to correctly aligned, you're going to need to use both adjusters. Reason behind that is we also have to keep into consideration the proper amount of chain slack. You know, every bike is different. Everybody has their own methodologies. You know, some people are going to measure it in millimeters, right? Other people, you know, you might have the finger scale, right? You might have a spot on the swing arm like I do. Like, honestly, on this bike, that's about what I'm doing. I'm going about 2.5 fingers because this is not a super precise measurement. You want to make sure the chain is never going to be in a position where it's too tight when the suspension is fully compressed. That is hard on all the driveline components, and that will also rob the motorcycle of both performance and power because it won't allow the shock to go all the way through its stroke. If your chain is too tight, it's going to bind before the shock bottoms, create all kinds of headaches. You don't want that. What you'll find with most race teams is you're going to see bikes that have a solid amount of chain slack in it. We've also modified our bikes. We've got different ride height back here, which creates a different swing arm angle. Some bikes might even have different links, and that in itself has an influence on chain slack. For street bikes that have not been modified, you're running OEM components in terms of the shock and the linkage, swing arm, all those things. You're going to have a specification in the secret document called the owner's manual that comes with your bike. It's going to give you a chain slack range. It's going to show you where to measure it. Use that. It works great. It just doesn't apply the same way to a race bike. Another thing you can do, like let's say that you have a race bike, and how I determine where the chain slack needs to be is we'll get everything aligned nicely. I'll put the motorcycle on foot peg stands to support the rear end of it. I'll then take the rear stand out. I will remove the shock from the bike, or at least take the bolts out, so I can have someone lift the swing arm up and get it to its longest possible point, right? When the swing arm is flat, that's the longest possible point. And from there, you can establish what your chain slack number would be, just to make sure that you're never getting the chain in a position where it is binding and it's too tight. You always want to leave a little bit of variance. You don't want to, if you're going to set it using a method like that, you don't want to make it to where it's perfectly tight when the swing arm is totally flat. You want to give yourself some additional slack in the chain. Reasons for that are simple. The chains don't always stretch perfectly symmetrical, and you know, you'll find maybe it's a little tighter in one spot a little bit than it is in another. For that reason, you want to leave it just a tiny little bit loose. I realize I kind of went in the weeds with some of that there. The focus of it is, if you have a street bike, follow the chain slack number in the owner's manual and or the service manual. That's going to work great for you. If you have a race bike, you can use some of the tips that I shared with you and try and get your driveline components dialed in. I like this tool a lot. This tool is going to be in my toolbox at all the Moto America events, and of course here to help get Max Van's Moto America Super Sport Next Gen GSXR 750 race ready. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments section of this video. I answer all that stuff myself, and I'm always here to make sure you get the same result from your next project that we did.